equal, diamond people, we ain't equal. Made the Lord slay the eagle. Hey, Jacob, my people, we got Edom trying to bleed him. May the Lord take his wings away. A little wine needs my mind. May Yahweh help the blind see another day. So don't be foolish to the movement, cause it's proven we the truest in the U.P.K. And if I fall, my eyes swim, my heart's my conscience, my all's inside this. I'm like Paul, they plotting when I talk of prophets, Acts 17:5. If I recall the violence, yeah, they all gon' die quick and we all gon' watch it.
Yeah.
So I'm calm as I say, no, they can't stop it.
Nah.
17:5.
See, I was trying to find my way, the devil's all up in my way. The devil real, can't you feel him breathing? Killing niggas for no reason, guess it's killing season. Satan always.
Shalom, with the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge out of Portland, Oregon, established in 1969, 1 West Harlem, New York. And since then, we've been bringing the truth to you so-called blacks, you so-called Hispanics, and you so-called Native Americans. Now again, the term so-called is used because black is a color, Hispaniola is the name of an island, and Native American is a term. According to archaeological, geographical, as well as biblical facts, you make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You so-called blacks, you so-called Hispanics, you so-called Native Americans. This is your book. This book is about you. Everything in this Bible revolves around who you are. Okay? These laws, statutes, and commandments that you find in the Bible, they were given to you. Christ came and sacrificed himself for you. Christ was from the tribe of Judah, a so-called black man. Now, if you ever have any questions about any of these things, or anything else for that matter, you can reach us, area code 206-778-1859, or you can go to the website, ISUPK.com. So with that said, what today's lesson is going to be is interracial marriage. Okay, and what marriage is, simply is this. When a man lays with a woman, that is the marriage. Okay, so some of y'all running around thinking y'all ain't married. No, we go over these things. You can check out our videos, and we break down what marriage is. So it's interracial marriage condoned in the Bible. Let's pull out the scriptures and prove it, okay? Scripture says prove all things. Even though I think y'all already know what the answer is, we're going to let the Bible speak. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off in the book of Deuteronomy. We're just going to go to chapter 1, verse 1 real quick, just to give you a quick basic understanding of who Moses is speaking to, in case you're confused about this. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan in the wilderness. So we did that to establish who Moses was speaking to. And it clearly said Israel. So again, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is who Moses is speaking to. Now listen to what Moses tells you about interracial marriage. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Okay, so that's the first thing that Moses is telling us. That we're not to take on their daughters or give our sons to them. Do you understand that? But listen, this is the reason why. For they will turn away thy son from following me. Okay, and that's very important. Because when you look at the current condition of our people, you can see that. You can see how us mingling with these other nations has turned us away from these laws, statutes, and commandments. And how turned away from these laws, statutes, and commandments, we are not giving reverence to the Most High. We are not being obedient to Him. That's why you have our people that will be Buddhists. That's why you have our people that will follow Islam. That's why you have our people that are Christians and Catholics. Everything but acknowledging who they are and what it is they are supposed to do. And one of the strongest reasons is because of this intermingling with these other people. So I'm going to finish reading the scripture. Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. And this is what's going to happen. And this is what's happening. Now, if you don't believe it, look at Lamar Odom. Okay? He dealt with that Khloe Kardashian chick, lost his damn mind, went to the whorehouse, spent, I think it was like $75,000 in 2 days, money that could have been given to our struggling people, our homeless people, our people in Flint, Michigan who have no water. You get what I'm saying? This is how we get turned away from our power. Because we get turned away from our God and we forget our people. We forget where we come from and how it is we're supposed to conduct ourselves. Okay, so you don't think that we get destroyed? Then what happened to him? He spends all this money with some white whores, tricks his money on drugs, and ends up in a coma. That's why the scripture says at the end of verse 4, so will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly? And it happened like that for him. Like that. He was up in the room, thought he was partying, having a good time. Bam. Coma. He may not ever be the same again. This is what happens when we deal with these other nations. Now I know some of y'all watching this video and probably thinking, well, that was one case and one incident. No, there were many cases and many incidents of this. O.J. Simpson, Tiger Woods, Michael Jackson. The list goes on. These are just famous people. Even the people that you know. Personal situations. And even if you're sitting there thinking like, well, I know so-and-so and they got together and they've been happily married for 20 years. Yeah, but what's happened? That person, whoever he or she is, has left us. They're no longer dealing with their people as a collective. How dare you turn your back on us? The Most High didn't turn his back on us. Why would you? And you think that you're serving him by not loving his people and by not following his law that he laid down for us? Get it together. Get in order. Consider all these things that are being brought out today, all right? From there, we're going to go to the book of Judges. The book of Judges and chapter 3 and verse 5. Okay? To go further into this, to show you how the Most High God feels about this. This is the book of Judges, chapter 3 and verse 5. And the children of Israel dwelt, I'm going to read it from the top again. And the children of Israel, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, dwelt among the Canaanites, the Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives. Now remember, we were already told not to do this in the law, which is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Okay? Verse 6 again. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters unto their sons, and served their gods. And this is what happens. So Moses told us not to do this because of what would happen. Now we're reading that we did it, and this is what happened. This is why it's important to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. Because the end result of breaking the law is already told to you. Imagine that. And even after you're told, you still do it. That's why the scriptures refer to us as the stiff-necked people. Stiff-necked, hard head, won't listen. And then we sit and we wonder why we're in these current conditions. Because of the breaking of these laws. Because we take on their sons and their daughters and we start serving their gods. And their gods today would be Christianity. Their gods today would be Catholicism. Their gods today would be Islam. Okay? Now some of y'all may be thinking, well, Christianity means we're serving the God. No, you're not serving the Most High God, because we're told to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. That's how we serve the Most High God. Christ said, if ye love me, keep my commandments. Well, if you got a white wife, black man, Hispanic man, or an African wife, or an Asian wife, then you are not keeping the commandments. You are not following after Christ, because we just plainly read in 7:3 that we're not supposed to do this. Okay, now we're going to continue with the scripture. Verse 7. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgat the Lord their God, and served Baalim and the groves. So he did evil by serving these other gods. So in modern day terms, what would that be? Well, that would be serving their gods. You became a Christian. You go to church on Sunday, which isn't the Sabbath. You celebrate Christmas, which isn't Christ's birthday. You give thanks on Thanksgiving, But Thanksgiving commemorates the murder and slaughter of the Native American, our people. And you actually give thanks on these days. This is how you serve their gods. Okay? And this is what happens when we intermingle with these people. All right? From there, we're going to go to, we're going to go to the book of Tobit. And the book of Tobit can be found in your Apocrypha. Any questions about the validity of the Apocrypha? Reach out to us. Again, area code 206-778-1859 or ISUPK.com. Okay? So now we're going to go to the book of Tobit. And we're going to go to chapter 4. And we're going to read verse 12. All right? The book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers. Chiefly. Meaning this is wisdom. There is wisdom in dealing with your family. And we're not talking about, don't be carnal. When I say family, just like blacks and Hispanics call each other brothers and sisters. With blacks, it's brother. With Hispanics, it might be carnal. Whatever it is, or primo, whatever it is, we recognize ourselves as family. Okay? So that's what it's talking about. I'm going to read it from the top again. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife. That's plain and simple. Take not. Don't take her. And a strange woman is a woman outside of your nation. So if she's not a so-called black, a so-called Hispanic, or a so-called Native American, leave her alone. And for the record, I don't know why you would even look at a woman that's outside of your nation. We have the most beautiful women on earth. The beauty of our people is world and historically renowned. Okay? So, the scripture says, don't take on the strange woman, which is not of thy father's tribe. Okay? Our nation. For we are the children of prophets, because we come from a royal lineage. All right? In the book of Deuteronomy 7 and 6, it says, thou art a holy people. Okay? We are God's chosen people. Not the other nations. The Africans ain't the chosen people. The so-called white man damn sure ain't the chosen people. The Asians aren't the chosen people. The Arabs aren't the chosen people. We come from a holy, priestly, royal, warrior bloodline. Okay? That's why the scripture said, I'll read it again. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred. So this is our tradition. The prophets always married wives of their own people. When they had this understanding, when they knew this, okay? When they came into this truth and understood and embraced this culture, they married wives of their own people. This is a law that's given to us. And again, it would behoove you so-called black, Hispanic, Native American man and woman to get in these classes so you can be taught. All right? Because deep down, this is what I've met a few people in my life. And deep down, that's the first thing you hear sister say, is she desires a black man. Well, sister, black woman, if you desire a black man, you need to get into our classes. Okay? Same thing with you black men, you Hispanic men, you Native American men. You desire women, men and women of your own kindred, get into our classes. Become part of I.S.U.P.K. That's all you'll see in here. We don't condone, we don't connect, we don't allow any nations into, any other nations into the congregation according to the laws of the Bible. Okay? We follow this to a T. So, I'm going to continue reading though. That our fathers from the beginning, even that, they all married wives of their own kindred and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. And this is the promise if we keep the law, statutes, and commandments. It's always been the promise that if we uphold these laws and keep our lineage intact, that we will inherit the land. And that still plays out today, because we will inherit the kingdom. Okay? And you can best believe that we are going to be following these laws. You can best believe that so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American men are only going to have wives of their own nation. All right? No one understand that. So with that said, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the book of Nehemiah, and we're going to give you a couple of examples of what has happened by us not following these ordinances, these laws, these commandments that were given to us. All right, this is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, and we're going to read verse 25. Yeah, verse 25. And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Okay? So they had to get rebuked and then make a promise to not do this. Because this is how taking on the sons and the daughters, taking them into your family, that's how contrary that is to the law. But we'll continue. Verse 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yeah, and then this is what happened with King Solomon. And we will go to that scripture to show you what exactly happened to him. Okay, but he's bringing out an example for you. Yet among many nations was there no king like him. No, he was the greatest king that ever walked the earth, aside from Christ. Okay? The wisest man to ever walk the earth, aside from Christ. Who was beloved of his power. He was beloved of the Most High. That's how the Most High looked at this brother right here. Okay? And God made him king over all Israel. And that's how much love he had for the Most High. That's how much love the Most High had for him, that he was made king over our whole nation. Okay? Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. And even when given this, even when given the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the strength to be our king, okay, this is what the outlandish women did to him. And the outlandish women would be a Khloe Kardashian or a Kim Kardashian, with your boy Kanye acting silly and looking a fool. Okay? All the madness that goes on with these brothers, these so-called black men, that as soon as they get somewhere, they take on a white woman. The cool thing about Kanye is he told you he was going to do it. In that one song of that Gold Digger song, he told her. He told all of us. He get on, he asked for a white girl. And that's what he did. Like that. He did it. And then look at the white girl he went to. The biggest known whore in Hollywood. Famous for being a whore. This is where he went. Alright? That's why the scripture says. And he was given all these things. Now I'm not saying he was given all these gifts he has, or all the things he's attained from the Most High. But he's been put in a position to make any kind of moves he wants to make. Okay? He can have any woman in the world from our people because of his finances and because of his celebrity. But what does he do? He goes straight for the biggest whore he could find. Alright? That's why the scripture said. I'm going to read it again. The end of verse 26. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. Yeah, and now look at him. He looks like a damn fool. Impregnating this woman, having babies by this woman, and when she divorces this fool, she's going to take a good portion of what he has attained. And that's what's supposed to happen to him. Because it is a sin to deal with these other nations. Look at Tiger Woods. Okay? He sat there and married a goddamn maid. And she took half his riches. Now this maid, this little white nothing-ass maid, is a multi-millionaire. That money could have been used to help our nation. And this is why we're not supposed to deal with these people. Because they take you away from what it is you're supposed to be doing for your people. Christ said to love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay? Neighbor being your brother, your nation. Alright? And this is why all these things fail. That's why OJ sitting in the prison now, right now, looking like a damn fool. That's why Tiger lost all that money looking like a damn fool. That's why the other Tiger, the rapper, he's dealing with the other young Kardashian or whatever the hell his name is, and he has his name drugged through the mud daily. Okay? This is what happens. I'm going to finish reading that scripture. Matter of fact, I'm going to read verse 27. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our God and marrying strange wives? And this is how it's looked. This is a transgression. So black man, you out there with that white girl that you think the world of, that is a sin. It is a transgression to be with her sister. Out there talking about ain't no good black men. You're a goddamn lie. I know of hundreds of good black men. All you got to do is come to the I.S.U.P.K. Good black men, good Hispanic men, good Native American men. Don't let that be your reasoning. Your reasoning is just that you hate us right now. And that's all this is. This is an idea of low self-esteem and a hatred of self. All right? But we're going to get y'all out of that. Okay? Because you're going to see the men of the I.S.U.P.K. talking about these laws, statutes, commandments. Scriptures say to cry aloud. You're going to see us doing that, as well as you're going to see our wives, plural wives. A man can have more than one wife. You're going to see our wives standing strong, holding their position as wives. Not holding their position as soldiers or being seen and heard, but taking care of our families as they should, because that's what a virtuous woman does. All right? So now, with that said, we're going to go to the book of Kings, just to give you one more example in the book of Kings about King Solomon. Yes, the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, and verse 1, to see what else happens when you deal with these strange women. But, 1 Kings, chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women. There we go with the strange women again. And he loved them. All right, many of them. Together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them. Again, going right back to the law. The Lord told us, leave them alone. Don't go into them. Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. They weren't supposed to have anything to do with us in that fashion. All right? They're not supposed to be part of your family because they're not part of your family. They are nothing like you. Ain't no white boy walking around that has soul, sisters. Ain't no white girl walking around that has that rhythm. Ain't no white girls walking around that have that rhythm that we desire and need. The Lord knew what he was doing. Okay, when you go against this, you are questioning the Lord. He knew what he was doing. He knows what his sons need, and he knows what his daughters need. And he knows damn well it ain't no white girl. It ain't no African. It ain't no Arab. All right? But keep reading. Neither shall they come unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. And there it is again. It's always about that. And that is what happens. Because you take on part of your spouse's culture. All right? So, if you marry, I don't know, you marry an Arab. All right? It's a good chance he may be a Muslim. Black woman, Hispanic woman, Native American woman. And he's going to keep his customs. He's going to follow his customs. Now all of a sudden you're praying to Allah. Now all of a sudden you're circling a rock. Now all of a sudden you're observing a Ramadan. All that has nothing to do with you. Same thing with you black men. You Hispanic men, Native American men. You take on some woman, some white woman from Scotland or something. Now all of a sudden she has you wearing one of those goddamn skirts. Kilt. Listening to that bagpipe music. Observing whatever their old wicked nothing customs are. And we see it all the time. All the time. All right? So this is why this particular act was not condoned. All right? So, with that said, I hope this gave you some insight on interracial marriage and how the Lord looks at it and how you should look at it. You shouldn't be happy with the idea of your daughter or your son bringing home a white woman, or your daughter bringing home a white boy, or an African, or Arab. Okay? The way that the Lord looks at it is how you should look at it. So with that, any questions? Area code 206-778-1859 or the website ISUPK.com. Shalom.
Brother, we done lost 12 tribes, let us find each other.
Only the evil down my people, we ain't equal. May the Lord slay the eagle. Hey, Jacob, my people, we got Edom trying to bleed him. May the Lord take his wings away. A little wine ease my mind. May Yahweh help the blind see another day. So don't be foolish to the movement, cause it's proven we the truest in the U.P.K. And if I fall, my eyes swim, my heart's my conscience, my all's inside this. I'm like Paul, they plotting when I talk of prophets, Acts 17:5. If I recall the violence, yeah, they all gon' die quick and we all gon' watch it. So I'm calm as I say, no, they can't stop it.